Rachel, thanks for joining us today. Really good to see you. I know you're joining us from a break on the wards. Tell us a bit about yourself, where you're at the moment.
Hi, yeah, I'm Rachel. I'm currently in F2 in Sheffield, and I'm on Obs and Gynae, which is fun.
Brilliant. So you're joining us today. We're thinking a bit about global related things. It's obviously quite a big subject. I understand that you were a part of CMF's global track. Tell us a bit about what that is and what some of the highlights were for you.
Yeah, so I always went into medicine kind of with the heart of doing it in the global field. And I remember the first year I contacted a friend who was abroad and was like, how do I kind of keep the passion alive when I've got such a long road of training ahead of me in the UK? And she said, well, you just have to kind of keep your fingers in there, or like just keep connected in different ways. So that's, keeping in contact with people, reading their prayer letters, praying for them, and then also just taking the most of opportunities that happen in the UK. And so when I heard about global track, I was like, yes, this is exactly for me. I did it in my 4th and 5th year of uni, and it was just a really great opportunity with CMF to meet other students and junior doctors and nurses who were keen for global mission. And I kind of went into it wanting to kind of get answers of what my future in global mission would look like where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. But actually it just blew my horizons even wider of just the scope that there is for global mission, the ways that we can do it, what it looks like in today's culture and societies. And so that was just really, really exciting, and they're really giving me more food for thought for coming years. And it was also just so great to meet other people who were in the same situation, and then also connect with people who have so much experience. Like we all had mentors, and being able to speak to them and get learn from their experiences and be encouraged by them was an amazing part of it too.
Fantastic. And were you doing everything online, or did you do anything sort of in person, or any trips at all?
Yeah, I mean, this was pre-COVID days, but we still made use of, we were ahead of the time, we still made use of online learning. It meant that people could connect from all over the UK, seminars online, and then every couple of months we went down to London to CMF HQ for a day of sessions with meeting together and having visiting speakers from the UK and from abroad. I remember one lady like literally just got off the plane or was just about to go to Afghanistan or something. So yeah, such a privilege to be able to have them come and speak for us. And we kicked off the time with sessions, overnight stay at All Nations, which again was amazing, and it was really exciting to hear what goes on at All Nations, and potentially it would be good to be able to do some further training there actually in the future.
Brilliant. Great. So we're at a Catalyst Teams conference, and so we're thinking about, work in the UK, and as you are being in the UK, so tell us how that sort of has led you to where you're at now, and what your global catalyst. What's your thoughts for South Yorkshire, where you're based?
Yeah, so again, I wanted to say yes to being global catalyst for the same reason. Back in first year, I had that advice to stay connected to global mission, and I felt global catalyst was the perfect opportunity to do that. We have such a wealth of people in South Yorkshire who have been abroad, who are currently abroad, or who are planning to go. And as the global catalyst, I just want to really connect all those people. So to stay connected with those who are out there, we've got people in Madagascar at the moment and Peru, and so hearing from them regularly, keeping up to date with what's going on, praying for them, getting encouraged by them, and hopefully encouraging them too, like that they know that we're still supporting them even though they're not in South Yorkshire at the moment. Then we've got other people who have been and have so much wisdom and experience to share, people who've worked in Israel and the Muslim world and Papua New Guinea. And so I really want to try and hear more from them and have sessions with them, and for them to encourage us. And then there's hopefully people like me who are in their sort of training stage and wanting to use medicine in a global picture. And so I want to kind of identify those people and maybe create a bit of a group where we can encourage each other and share tips and advice and pray for each other as we prepare to see where our future leads us, or God's future leads us. And so, yeah, I think it's all about connecting and encouraging, but sometimes we just need a bit of a system for that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that. It's really exciting. And have you linked in with anybody in the CMF office or any other global catalysts around the country at all?
Yeah, so we had a session with Fee just before December with other global catalyst members, which was exciting to hear their thoughts, because everyone has kind of a bit of a different vision for it, and that's really exciting to hear, and how we can sort of share ideas and maybe steal ideas. And then
absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, I'm just about to say that I'm all for stealing ideas, and that's part of the beauty of the Catalyst Network, is that, you know, connecting in and connecting with others, and then saying what is it that work in my area and at the stage that I'm at. And I think that's really great to see the where you're at, Rachel, and how you're able to infuse others and have that sort of help people to think, you know, beyond where they're at in their training schemes and so on, or where they're living, and think, how can we connect in with those who are doing mission in our area, from our area, pray for them and connect. So I think that's fantastic. Hey Patrick, thanks for joining us today. Why don't you just explain to me and the millions watching around the world who you are and where you're based?
Sure. So my name's Patrick. I'm an F2 doctor. I live in Leeds at the moment and work in Wakefield. So I'm based in West Yorkshire. Currently working in paediatrics, specifically neonates right now.
Great.
And we'll see where we go in terms of training, I guess.
What are you enjoying about neonates?
I think the SHA job is not exclusive, but mainly a mix of baby checks, which, you know, when you've done 10 in a day can be slightly tiresome, but actually it's a real privilege to kind of, you know, I find most of the parents that you might be like the first baby, you know, they're really excited, but, you know, a bit nervous, and joining in that is quite nice. Another kind of aspect is sort of going to theatre for the kind of, you know, neonatal recess. You know, which I'd say that sort of thing's up my street. I kind of enjoy that sort of scenario. And then there's a fair few procedures. So actually yesterday I did my first champagne tap. So lumbar puncture with no red blood cells.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to seeing my registrar on Friday.
Absolutely, demand the bottle. Yeah,
that's it.
Good stuff. I mean, I feel bad now because we've just had our fourth child, and I was harassing the SHO to come, and we just wanted to get home. I've got 3 other kids at home, like, let's do the baby check, please. I felt a bit bad, but sorry to all please SHOs. Anyway, you've been a student being involved in CMF for a long time, haven't you? Based in Sheffield, but now you're in West Yorkshire, a little bit further to the west, I suppose. Tell us, Patrick, what you've been doing with the students. Just give us a little bit of an inspiration as to what's been going on recently.
Sure. Yeah. So since becoming a doctor, so I had a fantastic experience with CMF as a student. So I was very involved. I think once I started getting involved, we went to more conferences than years, the sort of combination of nationals and students. And so, as you know, when I moved to Leeds, I was really keen to try and get involved in that. Obviously, the COVID slowed everything down it slowed everything down. But I think I've maybe slightly unofficially become the sort of med student link in Leeds. And so as part of that, I've been having these, I'm quite lucky in Leeds to have quite a large house. And we've had the students over a few times now. So we had Rachel from CMF come over as well and give them a talk. on kind of mental health and Christians, which is nice for me, but brilliant for the students as well. And most recently, so just Saturday, so a few days ago, we had a worship evening, so all organised by the students. All I've done is kind of provide the house, and I'm just going to show you some of the toys in my living room. We've got drum kit, keyboards, guitars, and we've had some fantastic singers who came along. And it was a really lovely evening. I mean, credit to the students who've organised all of it. They were just sort of coming in, and by the end of it, we would have I'm not even sure how many people, maybe sort of 15, 20 students. It's really nice just for me to be part of, but it's great to see how they're doing as well.
Great. Oh, that's fantastic. I was talking to someone in another area last night just about their student gathering, but quite similar actually, open house, and just it's great that you're an F2 level. You're not like senior doctor, but there's a sense of relatability, isn't there? And I think, really great to see you doing that. I'd love to ask you more about that, but we won't because we're running out of time. I wanted to ask you about the Evangelism and Apologetics Track, because what we're trying to do is trying to see how all this fits together and how people involved in Catalyst teams are also involved in tracks, and how we can also encourage people to be getting involved and getting trained. So what have you been doing, and what stood out to you with the Evangelism and Apologetics Track that you've been doing in the last year?
Yeah, so that's so I guess it's coming up to a year that I've been doing it now. I mean, I found it's been great. So we head down to London every few months, I guess it is. And effectively we've been kind of doing the entire CMF back catalogue, Confident Christianity. We've done Saline Solution. I think probably my highlight has actually been recently we went to the British Museum, and Mark gave us the Old Testament Bible tour. And I think there's something really special about kind of, seeing all the historical evidence for, things that maybe you're told and just kind of absorb. But when you kind of see things in the flesh, and you're like, oh, wow, that's talked about in Daniel and all those bits. It's been great. And then I guess, it gives you kind of some tools and ideas of, what then happens at work. Should we share our faith? Can we share our faith? How should we share our faith? It's been really useful to kind of address all these kind of questions, and and try and just live in a kind of live as a disciple of Jesus. But in the NHS, and not crossing sort of any boundaries there either.
So how would you answer that question briefly? Should we share our faith with others, patients, staff?
Well, I think Jesus asks us to, really. I think more the question is how should we do it?
Great.
Because obviously there are times that we should, and there are times that we shouldn't. And I would kind of recommend that people read the guidance from the GMC and kind of engage in courses from CMF that can give it to you succinctly, really. Because I think perhaps before this course, I just thought, right, I've got my faith, that's for me and me alone. And then I'll go to work, and then maybe outside of work, or maybe with colleagues in the break room every now and then, if you ever went to a break room at work. I think it's about how and when, because it's obviously not always appropriate, and it's important that you're not imposing yourself on other people, and it's kind of adding to patient care rather than kind of abusing your position.
Fantastic. It sounds great, and I think I know you and others would recommend. I think 16 of you, aren't they, doing Evangelism and Apologetics Track, but we recommend that to others. And hopefully what we're hoping is that, and no pressure for you here, is that actually the learning that happens on the tracks like Evangelism and Apologetics Track are things that you can then both bring into local things, into talks, into events, and then also the inspiration, you say, to potentially say, well, why don't we run one of these courses or events or sessions online, in person, in our region? So hopefully there'll be a spillover effect of the tracks that come into our Catalyst team region. So